I used to sit down at 9:25, open my charts, and start looking for trade. No bias check, no key level mark, no ID what the market has done overnight. Just open the chart, find something that looked good, and trade it. And then I wonder why by 10 a.m. I was making decision based on how I felt instead of what I saw. The problem wasn't my strategy. I had a strategy. The problem was I had no repeatable process around it. No structure before the session started, no circuit breaker during it, and no review after it ended. No routine mean every single session started from scratch. And starting from scratch meant my decisions were driven by what I was feeling in that moment, not by preparation. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the trading routine I've built, what I do before the market opens, what I do during the session, and what I do after it closes. It's not perfect, I'm still refining it, but it's the single biggest change I've made to my consistency, more than any strategy adjustment I ever tried. And by the way, if you're new, my name is Carl. On this channel, I document my real path toward becoming a consistent, profitable trader. No signal, no pay group, no perfect result, just honest trading and the process behind it. Every trade I take is scored using a pre trade discipline checklist, a scoring system that measures execution quality, not just profit. If you haven't seen this video yet, I'll link in the description below. But today, routine. Let's build it. Here's something most traders get backward. They spend 90% of their time looking for a better strategy and 10% thinking about the environment they trade in, the condition they show up in, the process that wrap around their entries and exit. But here's the reality: a good strategy executed in a bad environment will lose, and a solid strategy executed in a structured, prepared environment will compound. Routine is not administration, routine is performance infrastructure. Think about any elite performer in any field. An athlete doesn't show up to a competition and wing their warm up. A surgeon doesn't walk into the operating room without a checklist. The routine is what makes the performance repeatable. You don't need a perfect routine, you need a consistent one. Because a consistent, imperfect routine beat any inconsistent, perfect one every time. My pre-routine start at 9 a.m. in the morning. That's 30 minutes before the open. Here what I cover. Step 1, the economic calendar. First thing before I look at a single chart, I check what news events are scheduled for the day, specifically anytime or at before 10:30. High impact event like CPI, Fed announcement, job loss claim. If there's a major release inside my trading window, I need to know about it before I see the price action. I'm not going to trade into an unknown catalyst. Step 2, marking key level previous day high and low, previous day close, any obvious support and resistance that's been tested multiple times. I draw these on my chart before they open. These are the level I'll be watching for a reaction. There's also the level where I most needed to be disciplined about not chasing. Step number 3, bias determination. This is the most important step in the pre market. Based on overnight context and key level, am I leaning bullish or bearish going into the open? I write it down. One word: bullish, bearish, neutral. Why does this matter? Because my orb trade, if I take one, has to align with this bias. If my bias is bearish, I don't trade a long breakout. If the bias is my filter, I can't apply a filter I haven't established. Step number 4, mental check. How am I feeling right now? This take 30 seconds and I'll be honest, It's the step I skip most often when I'm rushing, but it's the one that matter most. If I'm distracted, tired, or carrying frustration from yesterday, that state will show up on my trading. From 9:25 to the open, I'm watching, not trading. The market is in pre-market territory. I'm just observing whether price is respecting the level I mark. So rule number 1, no trade in the first 15 minutes. This is the opening range window. I watch price establish the high and the lows of the opening range. I don't trade it. I don't trade it while it's forming. I wait for it to be complete. Rule number 2, I run the discipline checklist. Two side. This is non negotiable. Before I click buy or sell, I score the setup. If it doesn't hit at least 7 out of 10, I don't take it. The checklist is my circuit breaker between seeing a setup and acting on it. Rule 3, maximum 2 trades per session. Once I've taken 2 trade, win, loss, or scratch, I'm done for the day. This is the rule I broke most often before I had a routine. And it's the rule that costs me the most money. The third trade is almost never a real setup. It's almost always emotional. Rule 4, hard stop time. I stop trading at 11:30 or around 11:30 regardless of what I see. After that window, my edge on the orb is gone and I'm trading noise. I close my charts, not just minimize them. Closing is a physical act of signal the session is over. And the one that I'm still working on, not checking P&L mid session. Knowing your $300 make you conservative, knowing you're down $200 make you aggressive. Neither is the trader you want to be. The idol is to trade the setup, not the scoreboard. I'm not there yet, but it's a work in progress. This is the shortest phase and the most skip. Most traders close their chart and walk away. That's a mistake. My past session review take 10 minutes. Here what I cover. First, I score every trade I took using the discipline checklist. I do this while the session is still fresh. What was my structure validation score? My expectation score? My emotional control score? I write it in my journal. Second, I answered 3 questions in my writing. What did I do well today? What did I do poorly? And what's the one thing I want to do differently tomorrow? Not 5 things, just one. The pattern recognition is worth more than any indicator you'll ever add to your charts. I want to be honest about where this routine still break down because showing you a perfect system wouldn't be doing you a disservice. The mental check before the session, I skip it when it's a rush or when I feel fine. The problem is that I feel fine. It's not the same as I'm in the right state to trade. I need to make this step slower and more deliberated. The post session review on losing day, one days where I had a bad session, the last thing I want to do is to sit down and review what went wrong. So I skip it. That's exactly backward. The losing session are the one that need most review, not the least. Not checking P&L mid-session, I mentioned that already. I'm working on it. Someday I manage it, someday I don't. I'm telling you this because a routine isn't something you built once and then execute perfectly. It's something you built, break, observe, and refine. Let me repeat that. It's something you built, break, observe, and refine. The goal isn't perfection, it's a progressive improvement. And you can only improve what you're honestly tracking. If you're starting from scratch, hear what I suggest. Don't try to implement the full 3 phase routine in one day. You'll do it for a week and then abandon it because it feels like too much overhead. Start with one phase. Start with the pre market, just the economic calendar, and the bias determination. 5 minutes. Do that consistently for 2 weeks. then add key level, then add mental check, built in layer. The session rule come next. Pick one rule that addresses your biggest problem. If you overtrade, implement the two trade maximum. If you stay too late, implement the hard stop time. One rule, enforce it for a month before adding the next one. The post session review lasts because it required discipline you haven't built yet. Start with just one question. What's the one thing you want to do differently tomorrow? That's it. Write it down and close your journal. A routine built in layers and maintained consistently will do more for your trading than any strategy you'll ever find. Trust me, I've been there. The biggest thing I want you to take from this video is that routine is not about restriction, it's about freedom. When you have a pre market process that establish your bias and mark your level, you don't have to think during the session, you just execute. When you have a session rule that define your limit, you don't have to decide in the moment how many trade is too many. The decision is already made. When you have a post session review, you don't have to rely on memory to understand why your week went the way it did. It's in the journal. Routine remove the friction between who you want to be as a trader and who you actually are in the moment. If you want the pre-trade discipline checklist I use as part of my session routine, let me know in the comment below. It's the same document I walk through before every trade. Thank you if you made it that far. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to follow the full journey. Because in a few weeks, I'll be launching a 50K prop firm challenge and I'll be documenting every step. This is Carl, Trading Journey. I'll see you soon.